Hey everybody, welcome to Gootz's Disney Pod. I'm Ray Gootz, and I'm here today. We're done with the 90s. The 90s are over. We are in the year of the future, 2000. And I'm here with Kyle Lewis. Kyle, how are you?
What's going on, everybody? How you guys doing today? I'm doing well.
Great to have you, Kyle. We're gonna be talking about Fantasia 2000, the first film of the 2000s. Man, I gotta tell you, 2020 is the first year where the 2000 seems like a long time ago. Like even in 2010, 2000 seemed like the other day.
Yeah.
Does it now finally feel like the past?
No, I start thinking about certain things or like music or wrestling or things like that. And I'm like, oh my God, that was so long ago. I feel so old. Like we watching Raw or TRL or all these things. These are like relics to people, and Raw's still on.
Yeah,
But, like, it's just,
but this was when Raw was good. I mean, when
yeah. I
it
mean,
was,
it was can't miss, and now you're like, I don't want to watch this.
yeah. Well, I remember that was the first year I ever had cable. 2000. I used to have to go to my friend's house to do the Monday Night Wars.
Yeah.
And at the time, my friend was kind of getting over wrestling, and I would just come, and at some point, it would be me in the living room and him and his family in the kitchen talking about like actual things that matter, like school and finances. And I'm like, oh my God, Medusa just got beat up by Ming. So,
WCW, I was at by 2000, like mid 2000, I was out. Like when they
well,
rebooted it like the fifth time, I was like, I'm done.
well, I was in because I finally got cable. So every Monday I would watch Raw live, and then I would watch the
Mm,
replay of Nitro. And
yeah.
it was heaven. And if only I had that lifestyle in 96, 97, it would have been. But I didn't have it until 2000. So I'm like, this is going to be my life forever. And then WCW
Yeah. Died.
canceled in 2001.
Yeah. I
Before,
would do the flipping back and forth. Like when Raw went to commercial, you saw what was on Nitro for like 5 minutes and then go
yes, that's
back
what we
and
would do because I started doing the Nitro parties in 98 at my friend's place. Well,
mhm.
Nitro Raw parties, whatever. But we started mainly watching Nitro because
Yeah.
he goes, Nitro's great, Raw's whatever. And then I think the night after WrestleMania, we were like, oh, we should probably start WrestleMania 14. We should probably
Yeah.
start watching Raw more. What is this? And then it became more of a Raw party than a Nitro party.
Fair enough. You won.
Yeah, Raw won. But before we get into Fantasia 2000 and everything like that there, Kyle, how long did you do stand-up comedy?
Well, I did it until we got to this virtual thing. I was doing it for about 5 years. I was on my fifth year
Wow.
on the getting the ups and downs, getting the starting to feel yourself more, like a little more confidence, a little more frustration because you're also like, hey, I know I'm good now. I'm not just saying this, so I want to get further out there. And that was going to be a year to explore and do that. And it doesn't seem like that's, at least in the physical sense, going to happen this time.
So you started stand-up because I met you in 2015. I met you right after I went to stand-up full-time. So you
Yeah.
started doing stand-up when I kind of quit working as the manager at Caroline's, right?
Yeah, I started 2014. I did one of those classes, and people hate on the classes, but I was like, you know what? It's one of those things that even if you only do it once in your life, you like at least you did it, and if you never do it again, then you're out of everyone's hair. But I really enjoyed it, so then I started going to mics and doing this, doing that, and I got caught up in the bringer world for way too long until
Yes.
I got till people started using me.
Yeah. Now
That was like late 2014.
oh wow, late 2014. Okay, yeah. So I went into full-time stand-up April of 2015.
Hmm.
So you were doing a lot of wrestling themed shows. I just did with Nathan Orton, who's going to be on next week to talk about Dinosaur. I
Hmm.
did your wrestling. You've been doing a lot of wrestling themed comedy shows, correct? Before the
Yeah, I
plague
mean,
killed all of us.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I did them every. I would try and center them around when WWE was in town for SummerSlam or something like that, because
Hmm.
I knew there would be an audience. I knew I wouldn't have to like stress out. At least I say I wouldn't have to stress out. Of course I did. And then so we did those for SummerSlam, and then one of the last shows I did, that one was a special thing with. Now I can say Malcolm Bivens of NXT. He wanted to do stand up. We were friends before. I've had him on my show before.
Was he on the show that I was on?
He was on the show that you were on.
Oh, really? He was there.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was very odd because we couldn't announce him. We couldn't do. There were certain
Was he in the
rules
room
that
when I
weren't
was
his
there?
fault. Yeah.
Well, I gotta pay more attention. You know what? I was really in my own head that night. I remember that
Yeah.
was just when Caroline's first banned me, so I was like really in my
Yeah.
head. Yeah.
I remember that. But yeah, but the other shows were Character Select, which were just shows to have like cool comics on, but it kind of had like a video game theme just because the name and the graphics I used to use were video game based. So that was going on for about 3 years. Yeah, it's like 3 years or so, and then until pandemic, and now no more.
Wow.
Unless I go to Zoom.
Unless you do this. Have you done any Zoom shows?
I've done a couple Zoom shows. They're not as bad as I thought they would be. They kind of feel like I'm either doing the weather or I'm on the Daily Show sometimes, like doing one of those things. That's how I feel. But they're cool. I mean, it's no replacement, but anyone I've done so far, it's been very cool. And
I'm actually gonna try on Mondays before Raw to bring back Monday Night Gootz as a Zoom show. I finally felt comfortable on Zoom, but I'm not really gonna do a lot of stand up. I'm gonna be mainly more like Johnny Carson, like just now this person, now that person. You know what I mean? But I finally felt comfortable doing comedy on Zoom. Tuesday we did a Cinco de Mayo show. Nice. By the way, just so everyone knows, I've been recording these in advance. This is May 8th. This will come out in June, so either the virus will be not as bad or we'll be dead. It's either or at this point. What do you think? How do you think we're going to be How do you think we're going to be in June?
I think we're still going to be here, especially New York. So. Like, there's no way. I would love to be done with this, but I don't think I've set myself up to not be able to do live stand up till late 2021 if we're lucky. As mentally, that's
me
I'm
too.
thinking.
And I'm running into problems. I've had 2 comics hang up the phone on me that were my friends, and like they haven't spoken to me because I was very blunt about the future. I was like, you need to have another plan to make money. And they're yelling at me that there's going to be a comedy boom and everything's going to be fine. Everybody wants to, and I'm like, okay, you can't wish for a magic unicorn to come down and grant all your wishes. Like, you have to face reality. Like, you have to, because one of my best friends, Beth Traflet, she's a nurse at Lenox Hill, and my other best friend is an EMT. And, they're telling me these stories every day, and I'm dealing with people in the healthcare, and I'm like, you have to deal with reality. I'm sorry that your career was going well, and now you have no career. Like, I'm sorry, but we're all facing that.
Yeah, no one. This isn't a win for anybody. No one is happy about this. No one. That's why people are rioting and protesting because everyone hates this. Yeah. I don't want to be quarantined. I want to be able to go either do stand up or hell get a chicken sandwich without having to worry about dying. Like, but it's
I still go get chicken sandwiches, but I have a deli by me, so
yeah, you can get them, but I don't have to. You don't have to mask up. You can. Just go.
Yeah.
And especially something like stand-up where everyone's so close and people were already like not hygienic. So like now you want me to go like June after all this? No way. It's not gonna happen.
I don't think people get how like hard, like I was a manager of a comedy club, and it's hard to keep that place clean. And I was reading an article from Vice. I think Wade Keller, of all people, tweeted the article, so I read it. You know who Wade Keller is, right?
Yeah. Wrestling.
Of all people, but I read it, and and in the article, and if you want to go look up his tweets, June 8th, don't go look up his tweets because I'm sure he's going to tweet 9,000 things about how WWE sucks between now and then. So, but you can look it up, Kyle, when we get off this. It was saying that like if you're in a venue, Corona sticks to surfaces. So if you're in a venue that fits 100 people, and right now, you have a 46% chance to catch Corona. And that's like a huge, you really want to roll those dice to see me and Kyle Lewis talk about the Big Show?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to roll the dice, and I love talking about Big Show. So
maybe not Big Show, but I don't want to do that at all.
But you get my point. Like,
yeah, and you don't want a comedy show. I mean, comedy shows, some of them are already spread out to 10 people anyway. But it's still not a fun audience where you have everyone like spread out and you're spread out. Like, seem like you're just at a mic.
And the amount of cleaning the staff is going to have to do, the amount of the checklist that the manager is going to have. I mean, like when the health department came, it was all hands on deck cleaning wise. It's going to be 20 times worse than that, I can guarantee you, because if you slip up for a second and someone says, "Hey, the only thing I did all week was I went to go see Kyle Lewis headline Caroline's, and now I have Corona." Like one of your friends catches Corona, let's say, you know what I'm saying? Go see
absolutely.
Perform.
It's not.
Everyone's going to know where they got it, and then all they have to do is go to the newspaper. And if you're the manager, you don't have a job. You probably, and who knows? They could probably sue the club, and the club is just going to throw you and the staff under the bus. They're not, And you're
Mm-hmm.
not going to be making hardly any money if you're at 25% capacity. So these are all factors. It's not just as simple as people want to see comedy. I'm going to go on stage, do it, and leave, and everything's going to be fine. There's so many X factors to having live shows, live comedy, and that goes for wrestling or music
Yeah,
or even
absolutely.
getting hammered at a bar at this point. I mean, fuck comedy. Just doing a bar where people go and get fucking slammed, like a dive bar. That's a
Yeah.
lot of work. Almost dive bars can't even exist at this point because I'm guaranteed they're calling with Corona.
Yeah, dive bars are probably some of the. I love dive bars. They're probably some of the dirtiest places I've been. I mean,
Yeah.
they kind of that's kind of the vibe that they give off.
And
But yeah, life is different. Like it's
yeah.
just gonna be different for a very very long time if we ever get back to
If we ever get
how it
back to
was.
normal.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
personally,
depressing, but it's you got to be realistic about it.
it's depressing. I was kind of realistic about it from day one, which is why I've been enjoying Corona. I have to say, now I'll watch complete garbage like Pretty Little Liars, or I'll read. I'm finally reading New Mutants, which I've never read before.
Nice.
And I before, if I like took a Friday night to not do stand up and I'm just sitting around watching Smallville and reading a New Mutants, I would feel like a fucking loser. And now I just feel like this is great. I feel totally guilt free. This is the time if you wanted to waste your life doing something, whether it's play a game that you always wanted to get to, or watch a movie series that you always wanted to watch. This is the time I would say to people to do it, because when the world gets back to normal, you're gonna be working nonstop. You're never gonna have time. You never have this time to just waste on some garbage.
Yeah, and everyone's gonna give you crap about being like, how could you stay inside now after all of this? Don't you want
Yeah,
to go out and see the world? Although I
yeah.
really think it is gonna get worse. I mean, the first hot day or first hot-ish day, everyone was breaking the rules, and you're just like,
Oh yeah, that's why we're
no,
never gonna leave. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Although
just be cool.
I finally, because my kidney was bothering me this
Mm,
weekend, so I finally went for 2 walks, and I went back to training upstairs and that the other apartment I have. You've been to my
yeah,
yeah, you
yeah.
were in my house.
On one of the
I
shows.
I turned that into like a gym, the living room where I had the show.
Okay.
But I've started going for walks, but at night when no one's around.
Yeah.
I don't go during the day because the day the streets are packed. And I feel it's irresponsible. But at night, I'll walk on blocks where there's really nobody, and I'll go. I went for a little just to get some exercise to get my body going.
Yeah, because everyone's gonna have the same idea you have to just lay in the park and do. Sorry about that. Just lay in the park and do social distancing and all that stuff, and they're not going to do it.
They're not going to
Like
do it, so I'd
you
rather
can't
just
all do the same thing. And
so I'd rather just walk at night. So I need a little bit of exercise this week. But all right, we'll talk. Well, I'm sure we're going to touch more about Corona as we go. But let's talk now about your childhood. How was your childhood? What
yeah,
was it like?
I had a fun childhood. Like I know a lot of people say like comics have or like have these sad childhoods or like depressed or things like that. I mean, I've still have very loving dad, had a very loving mom, very loving brother. Although we were 4 years apart, so like
Mm,
when I got to that age, when you're like 4 to 12, you're like everything you're obsessed with your brother does, and then when you're teens, like you're both trying to like clash at each other because you both think you're hot shit. And then same thing with college and post college, and then after college, you're just like, you know what, we're all in this together.
mm.
So then you become good friends, you hope. But yeah, I was just a lot of the same stuff I'm into now. I was the same thing, like wrestling, Dragon Ball Z, Simpsons, cartoons, Disney, all that stuff was part of my childhood, and it still sticks with me today. It's fun to watch and fun to be a part of.
Yeah, I know you're really big into cartoons because of your Twitter, and if you haven't, please follow Kyle Lewis on Twitter. He always posts a lot of good content, especially if you're into wrestling.
Thank
Um,
you. I always think
oh,
it's a terrible comedian Twitter, but everything else it's great. Because
oh
other
well,
comedians are always firing off jokes left and right and like one-liners. I'm just like, I don't. I
you
just
know,
want to talk about Goku.
one time I had a that's one of the joke I do on stage about the strip club. This is when I first started Twitter. I was going to tweet it and I held it for the stage and I do it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like giving out jokes on Twitter. I don't like doing it because it's so
No,
hard
I
to
see
go through your
that.
Twitter timeline. I guess if I did that, I would have to also keep a Word document for all the jokes I threw on Twitter. But I
Yeah.
just rather tweet at annoying AEW fans than
Oh,
give out jokes.
they're out there.
They are out there. By the way, AEW. I don't know. I know everybody loved, and I thought it was a better show than NXT this week. But
Mm.
the AEW on March 6th. I'm sorry, May 6th. I thought, they're really playing. I know they said everybody was tested negative for COVID, but they
They
are
were too
really
close.
playing with fire, having
Yeah,
everyone that close, having
yeah,
two
I
guys
agree.
over 60. You don't need a 3-man booth during this. I think I think they're one of the reasons why we're not going to leave the house.
The fact that Jake Roberts was out there in a mask, like he doesn't have to be there for Lance
No,
Hoyt, Lance Archer. What's his? He had so many names. I can't remember what his
I
actual
think
name
his
is
I think
right
his
now.
name's now Lance Archer. I think it is. But
Okay.
like even like the crowd, and they're not social distancing, following Matt Hardy, and then Matt
Yeah.
Hardy bleeding in the ice machine.
Oh God.
Uh, it was funny and entertaining, but it's like, and I posted like they have to be careful, and fans got mad at me on Twitter. But I'm like, look, if you fans are right, you're right. That's fine. But if I'm right and something goes wrong, the effects on the wrestling industry are going to be so catastrophic
Yep.
that 20 years from now, you're going to have documentaries of Cody Rhodes and Kenny Omega being like, why did we do that? I don't know why we did that. Like,
Dark Side of the Ring, like season 24, is gonna be on
yeah,
AEW.
and Kenny Omega's gonna be living in a shack, being like, "Why did I? We fucked up so bad." So that's my thing. Like, it's almost not worth the risk, but whatever. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah. I will
But
give them this. One more on AEW. They definitely seem like they're having a lot more fun with their live shows, whether it's taped, whether it's a lot of crowd, or whether it's crowd or no crowd, than WWE. WWE kind of just seems like a chore, and
yeah,
AEW seems like it's just like a bunch of people stuck together trying to have the most fun out of it.
look, we could have like me and you could live stream. I have my fucking backyard. Me and you could live stream a comedy show tomorrow from this
Yeah.
backyard with people, have a ton of fun. But then if someone gets infected and we get sued off our asses,
Yeah, we're screwed.
how much fun are we going to have? I mean, maybe no one will, and we'll just be, look how much fun we had. We were rebels. But you know what I mean? But it's like,
No, I agree.
is it worth it for us? We could do it tomorrow. We could do it right now. I mean, we could have a comedy show right now if we wanted to. But like, you know. So was Disney a big part of your childhood?
It was like I feel like it was like to the extent like almost any kid. I remember going to Disney World when I was like 6 or 7. Like parents got me dressed. I had no idea. I don't know how kids can sleep through so much. And I wake up and like, guess what? You're going to Disney World. I'm like, oh my god, it's the coolest thing. I remember seeing like when the Disney store first opened. That's how old it was. Like the Disney store opened in like Green Acres, being obsessed, getting like Lion King stuff and Aladdin stuff like that, playing the games. A Goofy movie, my all-time favorite Disney movie.
Yeah, actually, that was one I wanted you to do, but like I'm not doing that movie for a long time because that's a Disney Toon movie. It's not a Walt Disney Animation Picture movie.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
when you get to it, I'm ready. I'm wearing the
Ready.
shirt right now.
I feel like I need to have like a live show with like every black comedian in that I know because every black comedian connects with that movie so hard.
Because it's been called the Black Disney, like the Black Disney movie. So, and I can see that. I relate to it. I didn't as a kid. I was just like, I like Goofy, and I like the Goof Troop. So I was like, oh, they made a movie, and then
the movie
was amazing.
Because I never saw the movie because I didn't really like Goof Troop. Was the movie that much better than Goof Troop?
It was. I mean, you don't even have to see Goof Troop. All you need to know is that Goofy has a son.
Okay.
And then the rest is history.
Okay, yeah, I gotta check it out. It's on Disney Plus. I've been waiting though because I want to watch it for the podcast. And now, this is the next one. I've never seen this. This is a Big Hero 6.
Oh, I haven't seen it either. I know they also have a cartoon, which I don't watch, but I know Big Hero like Baymax and all that. That's all I really know about it. The big puffy thing.
Yeah, and it's so funny I haven't seen that one because that is the only one based on Marvel characters. But it's so funny they basically took these Marvel characters and said, no, they're ours now. Like they're not part of Marvel anymore.
They can do that if they wanted. If they wanted to get Doug and put him in the MCU, they could. They own him.
Yeah,
so
that'd be hilarious. Actually,
Doug versus Thanos, baby.
A live action Doug is now leader of the Avengers. That'd be fucking hilarious.
Phase 4, let's do it.
If we ever get to that. But yeah, Goof Troop was. What year were you born, by the way?
86.
Okay, so I don't know why I thought you were born like 91 or something.
Oh, well, I appreciate it, but I was one of those like 86, like late 80s, 90s. So like Ninja Turtles, I was obsessed with, and Darkwing Duck, and I fell into wrestling in like 92, and then I haven't stopped.
Okay, yeah, okay, so we're closer in age than I thought because I'm 81, so I remember a little bit more of the 80s than you do.
Yeah,
but the 90s were my. It's funny because the mid-90s, I kind of gave up on wrestling and cartoons and started reading more books, like horror novels, and got more into horror movies and stuff. But what was my whole point in this shit I was trying to say to you? But I feel like your fandom peak was like more like mid 90s, like 95, 96, 97, right?
Yeah, I 90. I'll say 92 to like 97 was like I was upset because like Bret Hart's one of my favorite. Shawn
Mm-hmm.
Michaels. So like when they were carrying the company, Diesel. I like the Diesel. So when all that was going on, I was all about it. Like the early WCW too, with like stunning Steve Austin and
Oh, well, you gotta.
Sting and all those dudes, like all that. I was
And that
all
was also
about
the
it.
peak of your cartoon fandom.
Yeah, I yes, because then it became like a little bit anime fandom, which is the same thing. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
get into that, we don't gotta get into that because then I started watching like Sailor Moon and then like Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Z was like mind blowing because it's pretty much like wrestling. So
Mm-hmm.
like I became more obsessed with those than with like Nicktoons and things like that. Especially as I got into high school and that stuff wasn't cool to watch, quote unquote. And then no
I
one gives
know.
a shit when you leave high school.
Yeah, I got right back into cartoons as soon as I got out of high school. I was
Yeah,
like, yeah. But actually, I fell out of cartoons in junior high, and then I started getting back in around my junior senior year is when wrestling came back of high school,
yeah.
and wrestling came back hard. So my junior year of high school was '98, and then I started revisiting the Batman and the Spider-Man cartoons,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and now I was really into those, but then I just went, but I never stopped with comic books. Comic books I just never stopped. I still haven't stopped, but
Yeah.
now it's all digital for me.
I mean, I feel like you
Um,
got to just find things you enjoy. You know, people
yeah,
want to put so much stress on, like, oh, well, you're a certain age, you can't like this, you can't like that. Like, the world can be so annoying and miserable. If you find stuff that's legal and not hurting anybody, just enjoy it.
I feel like we're past that. I feel like yes, if you were a teenager in the '70s or the '80s, you were kind of told like at a certain age you were expected to just not be into this shit. Like it was almost like appalling if you were still like, oh my god, this new Batman cartoon. They'd be like, what are you talking about? Like your
Yeah,
boss would fire you. But I feel like teenagers in the '90s, we were the first ones to be like, we're not getting over this shit.
yeah, yeah. We're
we are
like,
gonna
this is
stay
our
with this.
stuff. Like, why? Yeah, why would I stop doing this? I
Yeah.
remember, I would listen to because of ECW, I got into like rock music and things like that. So like being a black kid in the hood, being like, hey guys, you guys like Nirvana? They're like, what the fuck's wrong with you? So like things like that. I remember once I graduated, like the emo kids like came in. So like in my old high school, like that became like My Chemical Romance and Fall Out Boy and all that stuff was acceptable. And I was like, you guys beat me up for like Linkin Park and Nirvana and stuff, and now it's cool. All right, fine, all right, whatever.
So
Congratulations.
I said to somebody, I said the other day that Parks and Rec is for white people, and Office is for everybody. And I
Yeah.
said same thing like Coldplay is for white people, but Kiss is for everybody. And somebody's like, Kiss is a horrible band. Da, da, da. Let me tell you, I've seen more black people cry over Kiss songs and more like older black men run and buy Kiss albums when I used to buy
Yeah.
like still CDs at J&R Music World. And I've seen any other rock band. And when Gene Simmons was at Caroline's, he went to go see Damon Wayans. No white people went over him for autographs, but black people like hounded him.
Of course.
So
That
like
must have been hilarious. Oh shit, that's Gene Simmons.
the Gene Simmons. So yeah, there's some rock bands that appeal to everybody, and then
Oh
there's
yeah.
some things that are just for white people, like Coldplay, which is like almost
Yeah.
too white for me.
Like I don't really mess with Kiss anymore, but Love Gun slaps. You
Yeah,
can't get mad at
or
Love
Guns N'
Gun.
Roses. I feel like that's another band that nobody can say like that's not a good band. Like everybody has to
Yeah.
just be like into that band. But yeah, I knew a couple of black nerds when I was growing up. One was very intense. One was like he had the Crow soundtrack, and I would be like,
Oh.
"Hey, what about Third Eye Blind?" And he'd be like, "Fuck you!" And I'd be, all right, sorry. Really.
All right, fine. Listen to the Crow.
He was just really into The Cure, and what was the other band on that? Well, he's really into The Cure and Nine Inch Nails.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
He was very intense, but he was a cool dude. What the hell is the point of this? I'm sorry, but the
Like
fandom
we
when you like
like what you like.
you like what you like,
Yeah.
and we're the only generation. But something I do think some people take it too far. I do think there are some adults that take it way too far with their fandom. Like I feel like some of the Adventure Time people or Steven Universe people that are.
Yeah. Steven Universe is a good cartoon. Like I've only seen like 10 episodes of it or so. I saw like some because my brother's into it. Not in the like the crazy like mad when something doesn't go right way.
Mhm.
But like he watched it and like their finale was coming up and I knew enough, so I was like, all right, I'll check out some episodes, and I was like, all right, this is pretty good. And then they made like a second series, and the second series is like emotional as hell. I'm like, damn, like this is supposed to be something for like kids, and then the next, I'm like, you're learning about your feelings, learning about yourself. You're just like, fuck.
Yeah,
Like, I didn't expect that to
gotta check
happen.
it out. People say good things about it. Just the
Yeah,
fandom. The
yeah,
fandom has always
fandoms,
kind of turned
no.
me off.
Yeah, fandoms like that, like the bronies are another one, which I don't think is a thing anymore because the shows are over.
No, it's still a thing. Every now and then I check.
Oh, okay.
I thought when that show started and we got bronies, I thought, oh, this show must be like Family Guy or Animaniacs, which is
Yeah,
why it has so many male fans. It must be like Animaniacs, like maybe like they're saying it's for little girls, but it's not. It's like
yeah,
cleverly written. So I didn't have the channel. I forget what, but I grabbed the DVD set and I'm like,
yeah.
all right, I'm gonna watch this, and I started watching it, and it is really for kids. It is not for adults. I feel like though as the show went on, they started catering towards the creepy men more than the
Yeah.
kids.
And they're gonna
But
go out and buy stupid things. So I shouldn't call it stupid. But
no, that you can call that show stupid.
yeah.
That's a
Like
one I
I've
don't
seen it.
understand.
I've seen it. Like I've seen them make adult jokes and things like that. And I was like,
I
oh,
think they
this
eventually, but the
character is
first season
definitely cracked out.
it was very much for kids, which is
Yeah.
why I think even the creators were like, "What's going on?" And I think as they got longer, they started like catering it more towards creepy men
You're
our
right.
age.
My biggest thing, and I think this with any fandom, I'm not a Rule 34 person. That always creeps me out. Like when somebody draws like SpongeBob doing like Sandy or like
Oh well, I don't want to see
Doug and
SpongeBob do
Patty.
anything.
Well, people do it. No
Okay,
matter
well, there's
what.
some characters that I like. She-Ra, not this new one. The '80s version, I wouldn't mind seeing her get down and dirty. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't want to see it at all. Like a friend has recently sent me like a Corona meme with Wonder Woman going down on Batman. It was like, oh, well, this bat is good. I'm just like, well, I didn't need to see.
Okay.
I'm like,
Well, I
come
don't want to
on, man.
see Wonder Woman go, but if like Linda Carter like got naked on an episode of Wonder Woman, I'm definitely gonna
That's
watch that
enough. She's
episode.
a human.
Yes, that's what I'm
It's
talking about. Yeah, yeah.
fine.
If you a woman like in a
Yeah.
She-Ra outfit, yeah.
Yeah. No, if you're a human, that's fine. It's animated. If it's like
Oh
Bugs
yeah,
and
no. I
Daffy,
don't want
like
to
I don't want to
see.
see that.
Yeah, but there are certain animated characters in live action being hot. So
Yeah, live action is different.
yeah,
Like,
okay, good.
but like hentai and stuff, I'm not.
No, hentai's weird, and the
I'm just
yayo is it called yayo?
yeah, Yahweh or something like that.
All right, well,
I've never been into it. And if you're into it, that's your journey, cool. But
that's your journey.
it's always creeped me out to see animated people banging.
I had there was a DVD store on 14th Street right off the F train. I used to go there. They would have the wrestling DVDs 2 weeks early. So like I would get like the documentaries 2 weeks early. You know,
Yeah.
Ricky Steamboat, AWA, what have you. But they had a whole tentacle rape section,
Oh,
like a
geez.
section. Like there's westerns, TV series, horror movies, 80s, tentacle porn.
Just
And
all of it.
and it was actually pretty $7.99 a DVD, and that was pretty cheap back then. And I was always gonna buy one, and I talk about it in my college, and people would be like, "You got to buy one," and I never bought one, but I always was gonna buy one, and we were gonna watch it at college just to see.
Yeah.
It was not like any. It was just tentacle rape porn,
Just all of it by itself.
all of it. And I love that store owner was like, "This needs a section."
Forget Disney, tentacles.
Yeah,
Right here.
no, there was a Disney section, but there was right next to it was a tentacle.
Poor kid would be like, "Oh, what's in that section?" You're like, "No, don't go there."
No.
There was one that was very popular in the early 2000s. It was called Sailor and the Seven Balls, and it's pretty much the Dragon Ball Z characters banging the Sailor Moon characters.
Oh, and that was a real movie, or?
I mean, somebody made it. It wasn't.
Oh, okay. It wasn't officially
it
licensed.
wasn't licensed. Yeah.
Okay. They didn't
It
come
wasn't
together and be like, "Guess what we're doing?"
No, it wasn't gonna be on Toonami anytime soon. But it was. I've seen like a little bit of it. Like I just can't. But I watched this video recently. It was called like the history of Sonic because that's what stand-ups do now. Now that we don't have any stand-up to do, it was all about Sonic the Hedgehog, and it got to their weird fandom, and then the guy took like a 5-minute detour to talk about the Sonic porn and the Sonic hentai and stuff in general. Exactly that face. And oh my God, I didn't know it was so detailed now. Like
I didn't know that either.
I've seen things before, like Fred and Barney or whatever. Like something like it just doesn't look like them, but like it looks like the characters in the game now. People have put a lot of work into it. Like that's a lot of school and a lot of math you got to do to learn how to make these characters look and bang and do all that stuff.
Yeah,
so,
like
kudos to you, but ill.
I've been into Sonic since '91. He's the reason I got a Genesis, and I always thought like just everyone just loved Sonic. Like people were
Hmm.
just
Oh, they love him
so
already.
yeah. So in 2014, I wrote my article about being a virgin, which I'm not anymore. Okay, everybody, just so you know, I don't want to perpetuate that thing, but I wrote the article in Salon, right?
Yeah.
And in it, I mentioned that I play Sonic Generations, and a lot of people commented the article on Twitter. There was this thread. I knew this guy was a weirdo the minute he wrote that he liked Sonic, and there was this whole thread of people shitting on me for liking Sonic, and I'm like, well, why is that? Because I just thought that was like, I'm just gonna play some Sonic. You know what I mean? That game slaps. But have you ever played Sonic Generations?
Yeah, those Sonic Generations.
Fucking
One of the good
amazing.
ones.
Yeah. And I'm like, why are people calling me a weirdo for liking Sonic? It's the least weird thing in this article. And then I realized, and then I learned about the fandom, and I'm like, oh, these
Mm.
people are like Mario even had this type of weird, intense fandom.
Yeah. No,
It,
Mario, there's definitely Mario stuff too, but Sonic is like a whole different world.
Sonic is very
Yeah,
intense.
people
Yeah.
want to make their own Sonics. They want to see him without shoes on. They want to see him doing A, B, and C, and you're just like, wow, I had
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah.
Wow,
Fuck,
this just creeps me out. There was
fucking
it was a fake tweet, but it was from the creator of Nintendo, and they were just like, please stop drawing Mario and Luigi doing each other. And that was the entire tweet, and I thought it was real, but I agree, they're brothers. Don't if you're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
do
no,
it.
that's weird.
If you're gonna do
Whose
it, he's
dream
got
is
like
that?
so many love interests.
Can I just
Somebody
tell you
wants it.
whose dream is that? Like who is like my sexual fantasy is Mario and Luigi banging each other. Like
I don't know. That person needs free therapy.
I get
That's
like
the
Lara
truth.
Croft or Bayonetta, but when you get to that level, it's like all right,
Yeah. I
relax.
don't. I'm fascinated by it in a way because I want to know why.
Yeah.
Even though like you shouldn't kink shame or do stuff like
Well,
that, but
you ask
I
why they
really
get
want to know
angry.
why. Yeah.
They get angry when you try to like when I made a video making fun of bronies. It's deleted, but I had like these actresses shitting on bronies and
Yeah.
people. Bronies wrote that they should get raped and murdered and get their throats slit. Like
That's the
like
complete opposite message of the show.
I know it was just like they don't even want you to like question or make fun of it. Like,
Yeah.
all right, bro. I
Nah, man,
guess
we're gonna ask. Like, you gotta ask questions. Like, I'm not gonna stop you, but like, if you're drawing the two ponies doing it, we gotta talk.
all right. I gotta tell you a story about My Little Pony. I thought this was the funniest fucking story I ever heard, and this has nothing to do with Fantasia. We're gonna get to that in a second.
We'll get to it. My bad, guys.
No. But I have to tell you the story. So like, there was a guy, that was posting My Little Pony bondage
Oh
on
no.
DeviantArt.
Okay.
This was a news story, and that's how I know the story. But I should really talk about this on stage when the stage was back. He was drawing My Little Pony in bondage, and a lot of people paid him to get pictures of Twilight Sparkle tied up, getting fucked in the
Mm-hmm.
ass. I don't know. A lot of shit happened to her, but she was tied up the whole time, right? So he's doing this, and all of a sudden the guy writes him an email. He's like, "Hey, listen, you've been drawing pictures of Twilight Sparkle. That's my wife. I got married to Twilight Sparkle. We go to the movies together. We sleep together. I have intercourse with her. This is very serious, and it's very offensive when you draw her like that. And I'm going to ask you, please stop drawing her in these positions." So the guy wrote back, haha, fuck you, like, whatever,
Yeah.
dude, leave me alone. And he wrote back with pictures of like he legally married. Somehow he found someone to marry. He married a Twilight Sparkle doll. He's like, I'm going to sue you or kill you. Like
Oh
the
my
guy wrote
god.
another off stage, and he put it on, and everyone like defended, like, oh my god, I'm so sorry you're getting this abuse. Your artwork is beautiful. And I'm like, how the fuck is the guy who draws Twilight Sparkle in bondage getting raped the more normal guy in this scenario? Where he's like, I'm just trying to draw this pony getting tied up, and the guy,
Yeah.
he's the normal guy, and the guy, it was a crazier guy.
Yeah, there's no winner there. There's zero winners
But
there.
everyone
I
was like,
mean,
"Oh my god, this guy's crazy!" And it's like, no, this guy's crazy too. But whatever.
there's no
That's
way.
I had to,
You both need some help. I
and
mean,
that is the epitome of Rule 34.
yeah,
That
there you
is,
go. Exactly. That's I can't. I don't.
yeah.
I have no words. Fantasia.
No, we're Fantasia 2000. So, this is a sequel to Fantasia. Now, Fantasia was episode 3, guys. If you want to listen to it in the archives, I did it with Nick C. I'm not a fan of the original Fantasia. It is long. Now, don't get me wrong. for 1940, it's a fucking accomplishment. It's a miracle he got this made. Hats off to him. It's genius, but it does feel like schoolwork, the original Fantasia. Have you ever seen the original Fantasia?
When I was a kid, and I was talking about that when I didn't see, when I was like I should not have seen this when I was 7 because like this all went way over my head. Like I don't know what the hell is going on.
Oh, the original one.
Yeah, the original. I was like,
Yeah.
why am I here? Like, why would they? Because I think they took us as like a field trip to go see it. And
because they had it like in like movie theaters with orchestras when it came out. Right? Yeah, at some point.
Yeah, we didn't have that one, but like, like they just like took. I guess it was in theaters, and they were like, hey, "Here's Fantasia." I was like, "We're kids. We don't want to care. Like, why is Mickey doing this?" And, like that's how it felt. The original.
And you've never seen Fantasia 2000 before today?
No, until I had to watch it.
So, well, first of all, let me just. Did you like it or did you not like it?
I enjoyed it. Like it took me a little while to get into it. Like the first, and we'll get into them. The first one, the first scene or first short, I was like, this is weird. And then it got a little more emotional as you get on, and then like you get to like the Mickey and Donald one. It's like, oh, I know these guys. All right, this is cool. Yeah. And Pomp and Circumstance, which a pop for wrestling.
I forgot this one at Pomp and Circumstance, and then when I'm like, oh, this is actually Kyle was perfect for this because. And I want to do that in order, but I have some thoughts on that segment. Just so everybody knows, Walt Disney wanted Fantasia to come back every few years, like a concert. It was his dream, but the first one made no money. Nobody gave a shit. No, people do give a shit. I always feel like people that say they love Fantasia are lying. I feel like you're supposed to say you like Fantasia.
It's one of those like classic, like Citizen Kane. You have to say that you love.
Yeah, well, actually, that's better than Fantasia.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's better. I'm not saying it's not better than Fantasia.
Okay,
like it's something that you gotta like love. Like I remember I took one film class in college, and that's when I just knew like I like this stuff. I don't love this stuff because like certain movies, I was like, this is boring, and like people love them because they're like the cinematography was at the time was the greatest thing. And I guess I'm the same way. If you show Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels from 1992, someone will be like, where are the super kicks and the high spots? I'm like, this was when wrestling was,
They had some great matches in 92. Don't sleep on them in 92.
I agree. That still holds up to this day. But, Young Buck fan, and a shout out to the Young Bucks and Young Buck fans, might not be into it.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
So, yeah, I shouldn't hate because I have my same things too.
But it lets more background. From Little Mermaid to Tarzan, Disney's on a hot streak. Yes. They are kicking ass in their animated movies. Now, here's the deal. They stopped making that much money because Pixar shows up. Disney did not own Pixar. They distributed them. But when, you have Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2, and Bug's Life, Bug's Life, we kind of are like, not so much anymore. But those movies were on a different level than what you're getting from Hunchback or Hercules or Pocahontas. They were just a different level. So I felt Disney was pressure, but they're on a hot streak, and then they kind of end it with this movie because I think they felt obligated to fulfill Walt Disney's wish and continue Fantasia. And they had it in their minds that this was going to be a complete, like they were finally going to do this every few years, and then they didn't do it. They were going to do Fantasia 2006, never went down.
It's okay.
You
don't need it.
I actually think they should do a Fantasia 2020. And put on Disney Plus.
If you do it every 20 years or so, that's fine. But I think every few years, that's a little ambitious.
Yeah, Fantasia 2020 sounds better than Fantasia 2006.
Yeah,
I have to.
Fantasia 2006 was the American Idol person, I think.
Fantasia 2006 just sounds like sorry for 2004.
It's Ruben really? Studdard.
Yeah,
it sounds like one of those those like soca card parties, those reggae parties where they always hey, you ever seen those?
No. Wait, that's what that song is. Sorry for 2004.
No, not even close for him.
Okay, good.
But no, like in my area or like hood areas, like to get certain parties, they just hand you a card. And then there's just like a bunch of like scantily clad like thick women on it, and it'd be like Fantasia 2006 featuring like Sean Paul. Da, 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 da.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's what it looks like.
That's what it sounds like. Yes, sure. Yeah, it does. Yeah, so I'm glad they didn't do that. So this is not a traditional movie. There's different segments. We're going to break it down segment by segment. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, first we have the start. And the start is Sympathy number 5.
Yeah.
It's very similar to the beginning of the original Fantasia. What did you think of Symphony number 5 by Ludwig van Beethoven?
That one I was like, it's okay. Like I just the paper birds and things like that. Like I wasn't that into it. I won't spend a lot of time on that.
No, it wasn't that into it. And
No,
when it started like this, I was like, oh, here we go, same shit.
exactly.
What was it that Whitney Houston song? Same script, different cast. Here we go. Like,
Yeah,
what the fuck?
I was like, well,
Um,
this is gonna be an experience. I feel like I should have been high, and I wasn't.
yeah, no, I know. Then the movie picks up with Steve Martin. I think the
Yeah.
smartest thing they did, because the first one has a composed. It has Deems Taylor as the host, who was a comedian back in the day,
Mhm.
but like more like a humorous writer than an actual comedian. But he hosted the original. But this one they have celebrities, and some celebrities really kick ass, and Steve
Yeah.
Martin's one of them. Steve Martin makes a masterclass joke 20 years before he actually hosts a masterclass. Did you pick up on that?
No, I did not actually.
He says
But
like, "Oh, take my masterclass on how to play the violin for only a couple of payments," like making fun of that he would teach a class. Now he's actually
yeah,
teaching a master class about comedy, which I thought was kind of funny that he's
no,
shitting on
he's
something he winds up doing. But I thought Steve Martin was great. What did you think of his little segment?
no. I thought he was funny. I thought it was a nice break. I was like, if he's gonna keep coming back, like this is great. And the way they use him throughout the thing, which I'm sure we'll get into later too, I
Yeah.
thought was really well done. Also,
Pines of Rome by Atara. I don't know what the fuck this guy's name is. Ataro Respinski. Did you ever think you were doing a podcast about Ataro Respinski when this quarantine started?
not even close. These
Not
are
even
names I
close.
did not know.
Well, I'm going by the
uh,
names, and I'm just going.
yeah.
We got Pines
See,
of Rome.
see, that's the thing. I'm so bad with names, so you gotta be like that Arturo thing. I'm like, is that the one with the whales?
Yeah, this is the Wales one.
All right,
This is
that's
the
the way
one.
I'm gonna call. All right, the one with the whales. I got into the one with the whales. At first, I was like, this is long. Aurora Borealis is there, which is nice. They're in Iceland, I guess. And then, then at the end, like they all start flying, and I'm just like, I honestly thought like that's gonna be the next tragedy, that not tragedy, thing that's coming. We had, World War III, Australia, Corona,
Mm-hmm.
pandemic, this murder hornets, and now we're gonna get like flying whales in June. Like that's just gonna be next. I was like, oh god, they're
Uh,
coming.
I I thought the whales were beautiful. I thought the animation of the
Yeah,
whales was fantastic. This one was good. It held like it was more of a story than the original Fantasia, except for the Mickey. They didn't really have much of a story.
yeah,
But this one I enjoyed. I didn't like love it, but I was like, all right, I'm with you. You had Steve Martin. This is
yeah,
starting to pick up.
yeah. You got into it. The baby whale gets lost, and you're like, what's
Mm-hmm.
going on? And you just get into it.
Up next, I think, is the highlight of the movie, and everyone who talks about this movie says this steals the show, and it has a different. And I'll tell you why this resonated with me differently than the first time I saw it. Was Rhapsody in Blue by George Gershwin. It was introduced by Quincy Jones. Before I get into my thoughts about this one, what did you think of this?
I love this one. This one was like they're all in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has a dream, but you're stuck working this job that you don't really want to do, or doing things that you don't want to do. Like the kid didn't want to go through all these practices, and one person just wants a job.
Yeah.
So it was just very like relatable, like just to the not just New York, but to the world. Like everyone has these feelings and these dreams, and like just doing what you can to accomplish them and feel like I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was wonderfully well done.
I thought this one was fantastic, and you know what? When I saw it in because I to prepare, I've been watching all these with the special features, and I watched this in January, and I was like, okay, that's good. But this resonates so different with me today because of what's going on in our city, and I've been
Mm,
kind of like, oh, the quarantine is great, I'm having fun, and then when I watched this made me really think about what we're gonna lose in New York
yeah.
City. It really resonated with me in such a different way, and it almost feels like a lost time now,
No,
which
you're
didn't
right.
feel like that in January. Now it does.
No, seeing like everyone just hustle and bustle and moving
Yeah.
around and doing all that, and like it's still happening, but now it's dangerous to do. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I
And
don't
just
want to get on a train like,
the
at all. I
family
have
in
no reason.
Rockefeller Center even
Yeah,
got to me.
everyone ice skating, like it was.
The
This one was,
last shot of Times Square got to me, man. Like
yeah.
it was let me just if you haven't watched this movie and you only want to watch one segment, this is the segment. Cuz and the artwork is just beautiful. It's just fantastic.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because I got you watch things and you're a comedian, so you make jokes. So the first thing they do, they have the black guy and he's running late, and I'm like, oh, here we go, like sticking to stereotype. But then at the end, I'm like, oh my god, it gets to you. It was really well done. So
Yeah,
I
all these
100%
characters
recommend.
had different dreams. They're
Yeah,
all interacting, and it was like, yeah, it was really, really well done. And I think as we go throughout 2020, this segment will have more and more. It's gonna get better with age. It is
yeah,
a. I mean, just from January to now, it's gotten so much more emotional for me to watch this.
yes. I would watch it again. That like if I had to, I would fast forward and
Hmm.
watch that one by itself again.
Yeah, is incredible. Okay, up next, Bette Midler, and I thought her thing was funny, where
Yeah.
she was kind of shitting on all the ideas they threw out. Here we
Here's the
go.
random thing, and my brother got mad at me, but I did not know Bette Midler was, at least in the 2000s, was so well endowed.
Oh, you never
Like,
knew that?
there was no reason for me to ever see Bette Midler like
You
in
know how
life.
I knew? You know how I knew that? Do you ever see the movie Get Shorty?
No, I
Okay, that's
know of
actually.
it. It's one of those movies that I know of. I saw like when it was on like basic cable, but like
Mhm.
no memory of.
Well, I always thought Bette Midler is just some old lady, right? She wasn't really
Yeah,
that old in the '90s. But like, there's a scene where she's like Harvey Keitel's ex-wife, and he comes home, and she's like, "Oh, don't leave," and he's like, "No, I'm gonna leave," and she takes off her jacket, and she has like this basically Scarlet from TNA, the way I would carrying cross outfit on, like
yeah.
lingerie on, and her tits are out. And I remember as a kid being like, "Why does this old lady have such amazing tits?" And I've never, and then I saw it again with my mom. My mom was like, "Holy shit!" When we watched it on
Yeah.
VHS, that same movie. Yeah, she has big tits. She's actually not that bad looking. I guess we're getting older.
Yeah, I guess so. I just knew her as the lady. She sang the "You Never Know What's My Hero" song. She was on The
Yeah, that's
Simpsons.
that. I Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, Hocus Pocus, great actress. Da 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 da. And then I see
Yeah.
this movie. I'm like, whoa, okay. I'm
What's
gonna go
going on
watch
here,
some Bette
Disney?
Midler. Yeah, let's do it. If you
Uh,
ever know, whoa, I did it.
so this one, and I think this was the one people when the movie came out, they were like, "Oh, this was amazing," because it was CGI. Piano Concerto number two, whatever. This was the Tin Soldier based on Hanford
Oh yeah,
Anderson.
yeah, yeah. That
What'd you think
was
of this one?
I like this one. But it was also like not like there's no realism. I was like, how is he gonna fall and then end up like right back in the same spot? And like this, like that's where like my brain like had to shut off my brain because I
Yeah.
was just like, there's no way. Like, was this like 4 months? Like, how did this action figure come back? Like, he would have had his way with her by now. Like, maybe they
Yeah.
would have been friends. Like, I
Well,
don't
he is a
know.
Jack in the Box. Where's his thing? His penis.
Yeah, how's he getting open? Like, I don't know. But it was still nice. It was sweet. Like. And I was like, yo, his soldiers are like a bunch of cowards because they know that's going on right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
They know he's missing, and they're just like, nah, we're just gonna do our thing. I was like, all right, cool. You guys let her
I
get assaulted, you assholes.
I liked it. I didn't love it. It was good. I kind of feel like Rhapsody in Blue just knocked me for a loop, and I was still trying to recover from that. But it's
And
fine.
Bette
It's good.
Midler. Like
And Bette
the one,
Midler,
the
yeah,
1-2 punch. You're just
1-2
like,
punch. So
well,
already
it's
it's a better Fantasia. I mean, the other
yeah.
Fantasia had no titties, so
Right? All
that
you
that's
need is steady.
that's what I should have said to Walt Disney back in the day. We need some titties here, buddy. What are you doing? I mean,
I'm
come
sure
on.
that's what happens with the like. I can't even think of a well endowed Disney
Oh,
character.
Pocahontas and
Yeah,
Esmeralda and Megara. Suddenly, boobies showed up after Pocahontas came down.
yeah. They were like, all right, we gotta get these going.
Yeah, because those girls have some for Disney have some big
People
raps.
need to draw things, and people need to draw art. So we need
We
to
need to
make
get
the
the Twitter creeps going in a few years. So
exactly. Let's make
next up,
Moana. Make sure she has no shoes on
oh
ever.
yeah,
And just
Moana.
do it.
Oh, do people? Oh, Moana. Yeah, people are attracted to Moana. Are people attracted to Mulan? I can't tell.
Probably. I don't.
Okay,
I
I'm
don't
not
look it
really.
up, but I'm sure everyone has their fandom.
I'll just tell you, Mulan. I just want to be friends. All right, don't don't try to hit it.
No.
Next up, we have the Carnival of Animals finale by Camille Saint-Saëns. This is introduced by James Earl Jones,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
about flamingos. The best thing I can say about this one, it was very short, which I appreciated. What did you
I
think?
agree. Like, I mean, it was just like, okay, cool. Like, it knows how to do some tricks. That's fun. And then it
Yeah,
ended. So that's that. I say the same thing.
yeah, it was short, and I appreciate that because I was not in the mood for a 20-minute flamingo segment.
Nobody is ever.
Yeah. Next up, another it was Sorcerer's Apprentice by Paul Dukas, and this was introduced by Penn and Teller. You gotta love this segment. I mean, this Mickey is so iconic.
Yes.
It's one of the best Mickey outfits of all time. I mean, there's Sega Genesis games based on this Mickey.
That's
He's
the
all
game I
over.
was trying to think. I thought it was Epic Mickey that they used it
No,
in too.
there's I think there's a Fantasia video game actually.
Yeah, I felt like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never played it.
But he also wears this outfit in like Mickey Mania. He wears this outfit, and he wears and the sorcerer in this is also in I think he's in I think he's in Kingdom Hearts. Yes,
Okay.
he is. He's in Kingdom
Yeah.
Hearts. He's one of the main characters, the sorcerer, Yin Sin.
Okay.
What do you think of this segment? Do you love it? Like
No,
I do?
I thought it was great. I thought it was well done. I didn't look at the original. Was this just like a remastered version of the original? They
It's
remade
the exact same thing as the original.
Okay, so they just brought
that
it
was
back.
his idea. You bring back old segments, like like
Yeah.
when you go to a concert, they don't just do all new songs; they bring old songs. So, and
Could you
obviously,
imagine being able to do that and stand up, just being able to like go back and do your bit from like 2010, and people like, yeah.
I gotta tell you, you know who I think would make money doing that is Dane Cook. If Dane Cook said I'm only doing jokes from 2003 and went on tour, I think he would sell out arenas. I mean, not
probably,
because I think some comedians could do that. Others probably not. But I could see. Actually, I think he's the only one who could do that because people would go back just to pretend they were still like 12.
Yeah, I heard Mike Epps does that, or he used to like just do a part where he quotes his like movies, like his thing from Next Friday and things like that. Yeah, okay.
John Witherspoon did that, but John Witherspoon get away. Well, he could have.
Yeah. Also, you want to hear it. You also want to hear that. You want to hear him like bang, 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 and stuff like that. You know.
He was such a great guy. I really miss him. He's one of the few celebrities I met that I considered like a real friend, and I really miss that guy.
No, you had some very nice things to say about him. I've never met him. I saw him at Sirius once. I never got to meet him.
Awesome. You did see him perform?
I saw him at Sirius. Like he was walking around.
Oh, you never saw him perform?
No, I never got to see him.
I wish you saw him perform. He was so fucking good. Yeah. What did you get Penn and Teller's segment before?
I thought that was fun. Like I don't know if there's any issues people have with Penn and Teller, but I find them entertaining. I was like, that was the first time I saw him when I was like his hair down.
Oh yeah, that was kind of funny. Yeah.
Now he just looks like an angry Star Wars fan. He doesn't Ken anymore.
That was great. Next up, I thought it was really cool how they put old footage of Mickey thanking the composer.
Yeah. Okay. I have something about that.
From the 40s, and then he runs into the 2000s. I thought that was cool. And then they're trying to get Donald Duck ready for this segment. I thought the whole thing with Donald getting ready and Mickey, I thought that was fun. Did you like that?
I had a weird thing. And my Disney Plus does this. It went into German.
What?
Yeah, it was like, so like Mickey was like just speaking in different languages, and I thought that was part of the show because like Fantasia's trippy enough that I was like, oh, maybe the composer's German, so he's just being like respectful. But then the composer's like, oh, thank you, and like that just happened for like way too long for me to realize like, wait a minute, I feel like there's something wrong with the audio. So I went back and I checked it, and like I put it on English audio descriptions, and then you heard Mickey's like English voice, and then I had to like fix it because that happened with me with The Mandalorian too. Like the first episode of The Mandalorian, I just need to learn German because I don't know what it sounds like, and I was like, oh, I guess they're aliens, so they're just gonna talk like aliens the whole time. And then I was like, oh, it's in another language. It took like 10 minutes to realize it, and the same thing happened with Mickey. So like, I don't know why my Disney Plus does this. It defaults to German. That's
weird. Mine doesn't do that. That's weird.
Yeah, I don't understand.
They're trying to send you a message. I think the Nazis are trying to come back.
Maybe. So that whole segment, I just heard like German Mickey, and it was a good voice. So I was like, I guess he's just being pretentious. Like, I guess. You
want to hear something wild? On the Blu-ray, they have a comment. I did all the commentary tracks too because I'm a lunatic. But on the Blu-ray, they have a commentary track, and when the Mickey segment comes, they have the voice actor who does Mickey join the commentary, and the Mickey voice is not equipped for freestyle improv conversation because the guy kind of gets annoyed at one point, and like he's saying stuff that's not very Mickey-like, and the voice he's struggling with the voice for a little bit, but. Like at one point, he's like, "Yeah, I really did murder those brooms. No, I really did murder them." And the guy goes, Mickey, I don't think you've murdered any. No, I did. Like, Mickey, I don't think you've murdered anything in your life. Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm just joking. Oh, I guess. I don't want any lawyers to sue me. Like, it was really weird watching this guy try to freestyle as Mickey.
Yeah.
And it was.
And they're like, you're going to get us in trouble. Shut up.
But also that you could tell, like, that impression is not built for just saying whatever you want. You know what I mean?
No, it sounds like something that hurts to do, too.
Yeah, he's struggling with it after a while. But what did you think of Pomp and Circumstance with Donald Duck?
I loved it. Of course. One is Pomp and Circumstance, which, for the wrestling fans, the theme song, forget Graduation. It's the theme song of the Macho Man Randy Savage.
That's all it is.
That's all you think of. Even when I'm graduating or when I was graduating, that's all I thought of, that it was the theme song of Macho Man Randy Savage. So the Due to Nowhere's arc with Donald and, like, him having to do all this and missing Daisy and all the love connection. Although at the end, there were humans on the boat. So I was like, why is Donald doing all the work?
Yeah, it's true. What the fuck is Noah doing?
Yeah, he ain't doing nothing. And I was also like, how did you guys miss each other? Like, it's two ducks. Well,
No.
I guess.
Yeah, I thought Donald was supposed to be Noah, and then when Noah showed up,
I was like, what did you do this whole time? Just sitting back, chilling.
You know what I thought would have been cool? Because I didn't know there was this whole intro section to Pomp and Circumstance.
Yeah.
Is if at one WrestleMania in the 2000s, the lights went out, and you have an orchestra performing that opening. And everybody, because nobody knows the opening. Remember, everyone in the audience was like, what the fuck is this? And then it goes to dun 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 dun, and then Macho Man Randy Savage just walks out and stands in the aisle.
Everyone would lose their minds.
People would have went ballistic because it would have been a great, because nobody, people that knew, like classical music fans who also watch WrestleMania, they would know, and they would be like shitting their pants, like they're doing the intro.
I feel like it's a very small amount.
No, I know, but just doing that intro, that would have been like epic. Like, this is his return. He's getting the whole intro.
I feel like we were. I don't want to say we were robbed, but like, you know, wrestling. That he was gonna come back eventually.
I think so. I think Triple H, if they got Warrior and San Martino, the only way I could see him not coming back is if that rumor was true.
Yeah, but they were making action figures and putting them in games starting then when he was still alive. So
I think what the WWE was doing was they would have the video game company reach out to these people first. Remember Brock was in the video game before he showed up. Remember that?
Yeah.
Brock, Warrior,
Goldberg,
Sting, Goldberg.
Yeah.
And again, the video game company was the one who got Goldberg back in. And I think the same was happening with Savage. They were like, let's see if Savage will do this stuff with the video game, and then we'll bring him back for the Hall of Fame. Maybe be a GM or something.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Or like, or we missed out on him dancing with like Brodus Clay, which might be a better.
You know what? I think that would have saved Brodus Clay would now be the world champion. I got news. Macho Man dance with him.
Exactly.
Macho Man, anything he touched, even like I think he didn't really. I think it was more. I think '99 is when he stopped everything he touched. Stopped turning to gold. Because I'm watching him
when he was like, "What up, Macho Man?" Like, yeah, that guy.
That was when he had his midlife crisis. But even the stuff in '97 was still fucking incredible.
He was still good to go. It's mind-boggling that Vince was like, "Hey, I don't want you to wrestle anymore." And then he goes to WCW and he's still putting on these matches with DDP and things like that. And you're like,
"There's a promo on Nitro." Where J.J. Dillon says to Macho Man, he's in the NWO, this isn't like you. Why are you with the NWO? Oh, you think you know me? You think you got my brain figured out? What makes you think you know me better than I know? You know what I mean? Like really like getting in his face, like why do you think you know me? Like, you know, that was it was just fucking incredible. Like, because he was like, why are you with the NWO? They were beating you up. And the way Savage basically turned it on JJ was like, that's the way you do that. Because you know how sometimes a lot of people turn heel? Like, I don't owe you an explanation. Yeah. That's the way you do it. The way Savage did it.
No, he was great at in the ring, in wrestling, everything he did. It's sad he's no longer here, but Pomp and Circumstance always brings some special memories. And not Graduation. Graduation's fine. I walked. It's cool. But I think of WrestleMania 8. I think of the Macho Man. And Donald and Daisy reconnecting through Pomp and Circumstance. Wonderful. He lifted her up just like Miss Elizabeth. It was great. It was really just a tribute to the Macho Man.
It was fucking great.
He didn't do that if you don't believe us.
Next up is the Firebird Suite, the 1919 version. It's about a spirit in the forest and the volcano.
Yeah. Yeah, it was all right. I was like, you guys could have ended with Macho Man.
Yeah, you guys
I mean,
could
with
have.
Pomp and Circumstance.
Yeah, it was okay. I did kind of like the story and the thing about the forest. It was a nice uplifting way to end it. It
Yeah,
was fine. It was I think between Mickey, Donald, and Rhapsody and Blue,
yeah,
they
that
kind of
was
hit a home
good.
run.
Yeah, that was
But
good.
everything else was like, it's okay.
It's like when you have one more wrestling reference: Triple H versus Randy Orton after Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and you're like,
Exactly. There you
we
go.
didn't
Yeah.
need it to be this long or be here, but okay,
You probably should have had the Firebird thing in the middle and with Donald Duck and Mickey.
exactly.
Yeah. All in all, though, I have to admit this is a better Fantasia than Fantasia 1.
You would
They're
hope.
yeah, I know, right? They had 60. How many years between they had? 40 to
Yeah,
2000.
yeah, like
Oh my
math.
god, my Corona's kicking in. Hold on one second.
Okay.
All in all,
Yeah.
I think it's only 75 minutes. I think it's a easy way to spend an afternoon. It's a fun movie, especially on Disney Plus. What do you think? You think people should watch it?
I agree. If you only have like an hour and a half to kill and you don't want to watch like another Frozen or something like that, put it on. Maybe, especially if you have children, maybe they'll just be like enthralled with the colors and things like that.
Mhm.
And you get to watch something that's really cool, especially Rhapsody, which is like if you can only watch one, watch Rhapsody, watch that
Watch
one.
Rhapsody because
But
I think everyone has seen The Sorcerer's Apprentice. I think it was on
yeah,
they've had it on TV before, not separate from
hmm
Fantasia. So you know that one. That one's great, but Rhapsody in Blue doesn't get talked enough. And I think
yeah,
as Corona gets worse and worse, I think it's going to mean more and more to New Yorkers that segment. So
I agree.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I would check that one out. And I mean, yeah, I would watch like I would, you're like we're gonna watch Fantasia. I was like, I'll do it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I just was like, who
but
can I get for
sure.
Fantasia 2000? I'm like, I need someone who I have a good rapport with.
Yeah, I'll do it. And then I enjoyed it. I
Yeah.
enjoyed myself. So
So yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah. All right. So Kyle, do you have anything you want to plug?
I guess no. I do.
You're like, no.
I
I'm in my living room crying every day.
yeah. We don't have shows anymore.
Yeah.
I want
You
to
do stuff on
plug.
YouTube, right?
I am. That's what I was about to plug. YouTube.com/keep it 5-star, spelled FIVE. On there's some clips of back in the ancient days of stand-up where I used to actually do it in front of people. But outside of that, we do video game content, like and anime content, all in the vein of comedy. So like it's me kind of just being really shitty at video games and providing funny commentary. Same with the anime reactions and things like that, or wrestling reaction stuff. I think it's fun to check out if you guys like that stuff. If you don't, that's cool, but it's a good time. And I also have season 1 of my podcast, Anything But Generic, is out there. It's pretty evergreen, so please check that out.
Are you doing a season
Anyway,
2?
we're working on it, trying to figure out the best option to do,
Okay.
whether it's Zoom or
Yeah,
Skype
right.
or da.
I think right now Zoom is the best option, right, dude?
Yeah,
Like this, we've had a great talk via Zoom that we wouldn't have been able
absolutely.
to have anywhere else. Guys, if you're here, if you haven't heard this podcast before and you went to this episode because you're a fan of Kyle Lewis or Fantasia or Fantasia 2000 or George Gershwin or Ottorino Raspinski, I've done this show every week. I've covered every Disney movie from Snow White up to this, and we're going to keep going down the list. So if you're a fan of Disney, please visit the archives. Every week, me and a comedian who is a good friend of mine, who is a very funny person, we dissect these movies, and it's a lot of fun, just like this week's was. We also talk about cartoons and whatever's going on in the world. So please give us a listen. You can find us on Instagram at Gootz Disney Pod and on Twitter at Gootz Disney Pod. You can also follow me at Ray Gootz on Twitter and Ray Gootz on Instagram. And I'm also have a YouTube channel, and I'm doing wrestling podcasts. I turned my Gootz cast into primarily wrestling podcast because I was getting the most hits. And now I do post shows. I'm basically now Dave Meltzer with my friend Andrew Lee. You know Andrew Lee? You ever met him?
Maybe like once or twice,
Okay.
but
Yeah,
like that's what you got to do now.
we're doing so now on Fridays doing post show for SmackDown. We do Mondays post show for Raw, Tuesdays post show for Impact,
Oh
and then
wow,
on
Impact too, huh?
yeah, why not? Fuck it. I mean, what else do we got going on?
No one does Impact.
I know that's why you get the Impact guys in.
Yeah.
You get that those 15 people, and
Shout
they
out to
start throwing money at me.
Rosemary. Yeah.
Yeah, the Rosemary fans. Actually, she does have a lot of creepy male fans.
Yes, she does.
She fulfills the quota. Then Thursdays I do Wednesday night War and NXT UK, even though it's all recaps.
NXT UK. Wow,
Yeah.
you're really doing all of
I'm
them.
doing all of them. What else do I got going on?
I
My
mean,
career's over.
I'm sorry.
What's stopping me now?
Someone's got to do it, so I
Someone's got to
appreciate
recap
it.
NXT UK on YouTube.
Yeah. I don't even watch NXT UK. I'm just like, I'm okay.
I gotta say, I think of all the brands, they got the best wrestlers.
Yeah, I feel like everyone looks the same. Like, I don't know. Like, I just can't
like
get
Tyler
into it.
Bate. You like Tyler Bate?
I like him, Mustache Mountain.
I don't like the other guys. I'm talking about
you only like
Mountain,
Tyler Bate.
Pete Dunne. I'm just talking about Tyler Bate.
You only like Tyler Bate. Okay.
Let me
I
tell
like
you
Tony
something.
Storm.
Oh yeah. But for 21, for him to be that good at 21, dude.
Yeah.
He's got a future. I mean, his future might be leading the rebellion against the Trump's empire, but it's some type of future that Tyler Bate has. I don't know what it is. And Walter's great. You got to give
Walter's awesome. Tyler Bate, that match that they had almost a year ago, or like half a year ago. Yeah.
NXT Takeover, right?
Yeah,
you were there.
Was so
right?
Good. No, they had one. They had theirs. Didn't they have theirs in the UK? And Pete Dunne had his at the Takeover. I can't remember.
Yes. Pete. I'm talking about both Pete Dunne's and Tyler Bates. I feel that in 2019, Tyler Bate and Walter had the match of the year.
Yes, it's definitely up there. I can't. I don't know if it's be hard to say no. I'm trying to think of any other one. Maybe a New Japan one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know you're not doing New Japan stuff. I know you're not a New Japan person.
But I gotta tell you, when I went to that takeover in Brooklyn, probably the last takeover ever in Brooklyn, the Pete Dunne Walter match also was just incredible.
Yeah,
it was an incredible match.
It's one of those things like I should give UK another shot because I enjoy these matches, and then I see like Jordan Devlin, I'm like, I'm out. I'm done.
Yeah, Jordan Devlin, I'm not.
The guy with the Vader suit.
He's in a Vader suit, Jordan Devlin?
No, not him. Dan Mastiff, I think his name is. He always has like the Vader singlet.
Dan Maff, I'm like, oh yeah, that guy.
Maff.
Yeah. I'm just,
But
Walter.
Yeah, Walter. Shout out to Walter. Yeah, he comes up to classical music.
Yes, the thing that pissed me about I love this year's Survivor Series. I thought it was their best pay-per-view of last year, or just the main company, WWE. But I hated the fact that Walter got eliminated so quickly.
He got smoked, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, why would you do that to? I think they did it to Walter because he doesn't want to really wrestle that much in the United States.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that Walter's a guy that they should really build around.
I agree. He comes in when he wants to. Like, I mean, they already have Brock Lesnar doing it. But imagine him just kind of being this world traveler. He comes in, smokes somebody, leaves. And then eventually you get to Walter Lesnar. And then you see what happens. And
Lesnar.
Maybe Brock's passing the torch and leaving. And
can you imagine if Walter came out this year at the Royal Rumble and just standing there with his hands?
Yeah, everyone would have lost their minds.
Oh, my God.
Actually, did a good job this year with the Rumble.
I did. This year was a good Rumble. Usually I leave because the Rumble's around my birthday, so I always have like a lot of my friends come watch it with me, and it always ends like, this could be another shitty year in my life. And this year I was like, wow, what a great Rumble! This is gonna be a great year. And then I got banned from Caroline's, and Corona shut the world down.
Yeah. So when the Rumbles are good, it's a bad sign for you.
Yeah. Well, my mom died after the 2015 Rumble, so and that was one of the worst Rumbles. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the Royal Rumble is just not a good way to kick off a year.
You think what do you think they're gonna do for the Royal Rumble if there's still a virus?
If there's still a virus and they're gonna make it like the most cinematic ass Rumble you've ever seen.
You know what I would do? I would do the WWE 2K rule. There's only like 6 wrestlers in the ring at a time. When there's 6 wrestlers in the ring, the countdown
I hate
just stops.
But yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. That's what they'd have to do. But I think we'll see what they're going to do because Money in the Bank whenever this is going to be way past Money in the Bank. But I feel like they're going to keep doing this cinematic wrestling stuff for their big events.
Well, Extreme Rules could be all cinematic matches.
It can be a movie. Like, make it a movie. Like, have WWE, in my opinion, needs to have fun with this as much as possible.
All the companies,
Yeah. For whatever Raw is doing right now, like, I don't care about Shane Thorne and Brandon Vink. Like, you're not going to care about these dudes. I know they have to be there, and congratulations for getting called up. But if it's the same Raw that they would be with a crowd, like, you're just like, why? SmackDown too.
By the way, this is going to be old news by the time this podcast comes out, but the Boston mayor made some statements about events in August, and now WWE is about to try to find a new location for SummerSlam.
They're going to have to.
Yeah, they're going to have to. I know you don't like this guy, but he said this is possible. They should have it at Hulk Hogan's private beach.
Do it. I mean, whatever.
I think that'd be awesome.
It'd be like Dead or Alive, the video game. Like Hulk
and
Hogan.
only have Hulk Hogan as the only crowd member. Yeah, brother. Ooh, brother.
Like I wouldn't love it, but like I can't see the Performance Center every day. Like I can't.
No, I can't. As long as I think they should do it on Hogan's Beach. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
Or make it like Hogan creates a Thunderdome. Now I'm in control, brother.
It would be like what they wanted 2K20, those like fake storylines to be.
Yeah, they'll do that.
Yeah, then now you can make the 2K20 game, but maybe
Hulk Hogan's on a throne.
Exactly.
Like his daughter fanning him.
I don't like him, but that's a fun idea.
That's a fun idea. So we'll see.
He can say
it's
the
probably
N-word
old
all he
news
wants on his
by
own
June.
island.
Watch Vince bribe the Boston mayor, and he'll be like, "Well, we can have some events. We have some events like SummerSlam."
God, people were so mad at Essential News Wrestling, but Essential Business, which I don't agree with, but whatever.
Well, I mean, look, it is what it is, but I just don't like the way like AEW's flaunting it by having two guys over 60 sit next to each other. Like, come on.
I agree. They don't get it. They don't get the same as Slack. Maybe because Vince and Trump are like best friends, but AEW, they're pretty Republican to my knowledge. They're pretty Republican as well.
Cody Rhodes does coded Republican stuff. Yes. He doesn't go all the way, but you can tell.
Yeah, so like the energy is never the same, and I feel like that's the way with anything they do. If AEW does something bad, people are, well, they're brand new. I'm like, well, everyone who works there has like 20 plus years of experience. Yeah, they're not brand new.
They're not brand. My thing with people,
and I like AEW. Let me just say
I like
that,
AEW.
Right? I like it a lot, but
I feel like people treat AEW like it's the ECW when it's like, if you really look at who's in charge, their core values are very similar to Vince's.
Yeah.
I would say it's more like Burger King to McDonald's.
I agree. I agree with you.
It's
and I enjoy Burger King too.
Oh, I actually like Burger King better than McDonald's.
Yeah, but Burger King has its issues sometimes.
No, it does.
You just gotta accept it, and people don't want to accept that about AEW.
Yeah, and look, McDonald's got me. I had such food. I had a gig on Long Island, and I had to cancel it because I had such bad food poisoning.
Oh man, from McDonald's?
From McDonald's. So I know I haven't eaten it since last summer. I threw up. I'm not joking. 50 times in one day. Yeah.
What'd you order?
I had the Egg McMuffin, the McGriddles, and orange juice.
Oh, the combination of
Egg McMuffin and hash browns.
Okay.
Yeah. And I remember the hash brown tasted weird and the orange juice tasted weird, but I got so sick I had to take an Uber home. Yeah. And he had to pull the Uber 3 or 4 times for me to throw up on the side of the road.
Wow.
And I tipped the guy like 20. I wound up spending like $8. I lost money. It was going to be like $60. I wound up spending like almost $100 to Uber.
Yeah.
Because I tipped him so much because of what I was doing.
Yeah, you don't want it.
Yeah. Exactly. What a way to end the pod. Listen.
Right?
What a downer
You're
way.
already the plug. We start talking about wrestling again and then vomiting.
Hey, guys, Burger King, way better than McDonald's. AEW, way better than WWE. Not so sure about that. Kyle Lewis, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. And I just want everyone to know I do like AEW. Do not come in my mentions, please. Don't. And watch a Goofy movie. And don't draw ponies doing it. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't. And let me just tell you, you can come in my mentions, AEW fans. Okay.
Yeah, he'll fight you.
I'll fight you. But also check out Rhapsody in Blue. All right, guys. Thank you so much.